ones, otherwise known as Call Me Kris on TikTok. When I was younger, probably around 11 or 12 is when I started to notice I had symptoms of depression, and I never went to the internet or anything like that to figure it out, but I remember talking about it with a counselor at school, I think when I was in middle school, and I approached my mom about it, and she had suffered with depression in the past, so she tried to give me tools to help and everything, but by the time I was 14, I started to have suicidal thoughts and thoughts of self-harm and everything like that. So I told my mom, and she took me to the doctor, and I got officially diagnosed for depression. And I also got medication along with that. And in my later years, I stopped medication and everything, and in my later teens, I developed multiple eating disorders and went through a while without getting any help, and then I got professional help a couple years ago, actually. So I've been battling with that and in recovery from that for the last little while, and my depression was definitely a factor in that. So, like I said before, I actually heard about mental illness from actually my parents at first, just because my mom had dealt with it in the past, and my mom and my dad had gone through a separation at the time, and they sat us down and kind of explained why, and a lot of it had to do with my mom's depression and my dad's what he had going on and everything. So that's the first time I kind of heard about it. And then I spoke with a counselor actually at school, and she had mentioned that I should possibly look into getting professional help, and that's when I did. For movies I've seen, I can't think of an exact one off of the top of my head, but I think mental illness has somewhat been romanticized in films and TV and whatnot. From what I've seen, there's a few good examples of mental illness being portrayed well. Oh, I know in Silver Linings Playbook they speak about bipolar and anger management and depression and all that kind of stuff, and I thought it was really well done in that movie. And I really resonated with that movie, actually, because it was like the first movie I saw that I actually could relate to and stuff with my own issues and all that kind of stuff. So, but I think for the most part, I think it's not portrayed well enough, because depression, anxiety, eating disorders, all that kind of stuff, OCD, whatever, it's only portrayed in very specific forms. Very if you're depressed, you're sad, and if you have anxiety, then you're just scared all the time, which isn't the case. So I think there needs to be a better portrayal of that in TV and film. In the past, I have had suicidal thoughts. Self-harm for me, that's when my eating disorder started. It didn't necessarily come from wanting to look a certain way like some people's do or anything like that. It became a way of punishing myself, and it got to the point where I was very, very close to dying, and that's when my family and loved ones made me reach out for help and everything. When I was a teenager, a late teenager, when I was able to drive and everything, I would leave my house all the time with the intention of ending my life, driving into a pole or off a cliff or something like that. But the thought of my parents and sisters and brothers and everything, having to deal with that stopped me. And also eventually getting help and it being able to talk to somebody about these kind of issues really helped me. People that don't suffer with mental health illnesses or are battling with mental health illnesses don't completely understand, because I don't think it's taught enough about like depression and anxiety and all those OCD and bipolar disorder, all these things. I never learned any of these in school, so there is a stigma around it, and the big stigma is it's always attention seeking and it's just a phase and all of those kind of things, but it's truly not. And I think people are just not educated enough. It's just ignorance, basically. It's them just not knowing because nobody has taught them about it. You basically have to, unless you have a loved one suffering from it or you're suffering from it yourself, there's nothing showing you what mental illness is, so or mental health awareness is. So I think we need to really talk about it more and educate people about it. So what's really important to me and what I find helps with bringing me back down to earth and that helps with my depression and everything is honestly just turning off all of my electronics and everything and going for a walk. I know it's very simple. I don't even bring my phone or everything. I just turn my brain off, go for a walk, think of all the things I'm grateful for in my life, and that always seems to help. And I have other creative outlets like creating my videos and painting and drawing and doing those kinds of things that always make me happy when I do them. So there's always something you can do to distract yourself. I think it's all about distracting yourself and focusing on things that really are important to you and that you actually like doing and everything. So yeah. Honestly, probably came from my parents. They were very supportive, and it's basically all about not being afraid to get help. And I think with a lot of people that suffer with mental health or mental illnesses, you never feel sick enough or you never feel worthy enough of getting help, and you don't want to be looked down upon or not strong enough or anything like that. But we are at a point where it is so incredibly and completely normal, and it's okay not to be okay, and you are so worthy of getting help. And I know that was the biggest thing for me, and that's why it took me so long to get professional help, especially for when I was at my eating disorder and depression phase, is because I just never felt like I was sick enough, and I was almost embarrassed. And I just think that stigma needs to be crushed, just because it's just so dangerous for so many people. I think it needs to be more light. It needs to be brought more to the light. So like I mentioned, don't feel like you need to prove yourself to anybody, or that you need to be a certain kind of sad, or you're not anxious enough, or you're not sick enough or anything like that. You are worthy of getting help. Your feelings are so incredibly valid, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I am living proof. And I know it's so hard to see when you are in that dark place, but it's there. And if you get the help that you need and you surround yourself with people that are willing to support you, it doesn't necessarily need to be family. It can be friends. It can be a complete stranger. then you'll be okay, and it is possible to battle through this. So thank you so much.